Welcome, children. We all like to buy dresses on birthdays, festivals, and in special occasions. We are very specific about the choice of dresses. Fashion industry keeps bringing innovative and trendy outfits every day. Outfits gives us confidence and builds up our mood on a hectic working day. That's why we insist you all to wear proper uniform and proper shoes to school. First impression is the best impression always. In an interview, the interviewer judges the person based on the dress he wears. At school also, while selecting the leaders, we always go for students who are very confident and neat in his dressing. We buy dresses and maintain it so that we wear properly when we go out. Some dresses gives us good comfort and is used for special purpose. For example, for swimming we use special kind of dress, and at home we use cotton t-shirts to feel comfortable. Now, to know more about fabrics and their production, let's go into today's lesson. Lesson 3, Fiber to Fabric, Part 1. Last year in Standard 6, we learnt about some fibers obtained from plants, cotton and jute. We learnt how fibers are made to yarn and yarn to fabric. We already know that natural fibers are obtained from plants and from animals. Cotton and jute are natural fibers obtained from plants. Other than cotton and jute, flax, coir is also used. Wool and silk are natural fibers obtained from animals. Polyester and nylon are synthetic fibers. Last year we saw different processes involved from the traditional way till the modern way. So we already know little about the fiber to fabric. And we know the history behind the textile industry also. How the age-old way of dressing started and how it has developed till date. Today we are going to learn in detail about animal fibers, wool and silk. In this part we will learn in detail about wool. The next video lesson, part 2, will be about silk. Arun and Riya want to help the children affected by floods in cold northern region. They want to send clothes to the affected children. What kind of clothes should Arun and Riya collect? How should they pack them? Whom they should contact to ensure that the clothes reach the affected children on time? So we see that according to the place and according to the purpose, the type of clothes used differ. When you plan for a hill station, you always pack warm clothes like sweaters and blankets. Since ancient times, people living in cold places covered their bodies with animal fur. With time, they realized that the fleece, hair of many animals could be used to make wool. Animals such as sheep, goats, and camels were domesticated and their hair was used to make wool. Wool is obtained from the fleece, hair of sheep or yak. Do you know which part of the sheep's body yields fibers? Are you aware how these fibers are converted into woolen yarn that we buy from the market to knit sweaters? In this chapter, we will be learning about the types of wool, the different steps involved in the process of making wool, and the characteristics of wool. Now let's go into the lesson.
The fleece of sheep is not the only source of wool. There are other animals also that yield wool. Wool is obtained from other animals like yak, goat, camel, etc. also. Yak wool is common in Tibet and Ladakh. Angora wool is obtained from Angora goats and Angora rabbits. Angora goats are found in hilly regions such as Jammu and Kashmir. The Angora rabbit is a variety of domestic rabbit breed for its long and soft wool. Wool is also obtained from mountain goat's hair. The underfur of Kashmiri goat is soft. It is woven into fine shawls called pashmina shawls.
Animal fibers. Just now we saw a video on animals that give wool. We get wool from animals such as sheep, goat, camels, yak and rabbits. Kashmiri wool. Kashmiri wool is the finest wool. It is obtained from the Kashmiri goats found in the Kashmir region. The wool is known as pashmina and is woven or knitted into fine pashmina shawls and garments. Yak wool. The soft underhair of the yaks found in the Ladakh region and Tibet is used to make wool. The wool can be blended with silk for easy spinning. Yak wool is used to make sweaters, blankets and coats. It is much warmer than the sheep wool. Mohair, the fleece taken from Angora goats, is very tough and strong. Mohair is used for making garments and home furnishing. Angora wool. Angora wool is obtained from the Angora rabbit, a variety of domestic rabbit bred for its long soft hair. The soft fiber is used in sweaters and clothes for infants. Camel wool. The hair obtained from the undercoat of the camel is extremely soft and fine. Camel wool is used to make coats, robes, and sportswear. Now we know the animals that yield the wool. Now, sheep rearing and breeding. Sheep and goats are important livestock and are reared in many parts of India. Their rearing and breeding play an important role in the livelihood of small farmers and landless laborers. Sheep and goats are reared for their milk, wool, and meat. They are kept in pens or on pasture land. Now let me just tell you some Indian sheep breeds reared for wool. Bakharwal is a good quality wool used for making shawls in Jammu and Kashmir region. Lohi is a good wool quality used for making sweaters, shawls in Rajasthan and Punjab region. Patanwadi is a good quality wool used for making hosiery in Gujarat. Nali is a coarse quality used for making carpets in Rajasthan, Punjab, Haryana region. Marwari is a coarse quality wool used for making carpets, shawls in Gujarat region.
Wool is one of the most naturally inspiring fibres on the planet and undergoes a unique journey from the sheep's back to the world of fashion. The first step is the classification process, categorising the wool for the end product. Wool fibres chosen for worsted garments tend to be longer and more uniform in length than those destined for woolen ones. The journey for both types of wool begins with the scouring process, washing the wool in hot water and detergent and extracting the lanolin which can be used in cosmetics. The wool is then blow-dried and undergoes a process called carding, opening up the tangled fibres into a continuous length. At the end of carding, the woolen roving is extracted, while the worsted sliver moves on to the gilling process, which is designed to further align the fibres. From there, the wool undergoes a process called combing. The sliver is pulled through a fine-toothed comb, leaving short fibres and contamination behind. The resultant wool top is drawn down to a fine rope called a worsted roving. The worsted and woolen rovings are spun by applying twist, which binds the fibres together to form continuous and strong yarn. Worsted yarns are fine and smooth, whereas woolen yarns have more texture and bulk. The yarn is the raw material of the fashion industry. It can be knitted through a process of interlocking loops or woven by interlacing weft yarns across warp yarns, which run the length of the fabric. Wool can be dyed at almost any stage of the process and involves treating the fibre with coloured dyes in boiling water. The fabric then undergoes a process called finishing, designed to create wool's characteristic softness and texture. It is washed, steamed and then pressed, ready for delivery. It is the job of fashion designers and pattern makers to transform the fabric into innovative designs for interiors, intimate apparel, knits, and woven garments.
Steps for processing. Number 1, shearing. Scouring, sorting, separating burrs, dyeing, rolling. Wool processing from fiber to wool. Most of the wool in the market is made from the fleece of sheep. The process of wool involves the following step. Shearing. You can see in the diagram, the sheep are sheared to remove the fleece. Shearing is the first step in the processing of wool. The fleece, raw wool, is peeled off in one piece. The sheep need to be protected from rain for a day before shearing. Usually, hair are removed during hot weather. This enables sheep to survive without their protective coat of hair. The hair provides woolen fibers. Woolen fibers are then processed to obtain woolen yarn. The next step is washing the raw wool to remove grease, vegetable matter, and other impurities. This is done in a series of tubs filled with soap water. This process is called scouring. The raw wool is then squeezed and dried by passing it through a series of rollers and dryers. Can you see? The wool is dyed. Dyed means giving colors, using different colors. The fibers are then rolled over onto one another into fine strands called silvers. The fine strands are then gently twisted into rope-like strands through a process called rowing. The strands are combed and prepared for spinning into woolen yarn. After spinning, the wool is either woven into fabric or knitted into garment. Did you know the soft wool of an antelope called chiru of Kashmir was used to make shanto shawls? Chiru has been hunted for its wool to such an extent that the animal has become endangered. The Supreme Court of India has declared weaving and trading of Santosh shawls illegal. But during the shearing process, the animal does not get hurt because the hair is just like our nail. The pain is not felt by the animal, so it does not hurt the animal as in the case of Shiru. Sheep are herbivores and prefer grass and leaves. Apart from grazing sheep, rearers also feed them on a mixture of pulses, corn, jowar, oil cakes, material left after taking out oil from seeds, and minerals. In winter, sheep are kept indoor and fed on leaves, grains, and dry fodder. Certain breeds of sheep have thick coat of hair on their body which yields good quality of wool in large quantities. These sheep are selectively bred, with one parent being a sheep of good breed. Once the reared sheep have developed a thick growth of hair, the hair is shaved off for getting wool. So people working in this industry have some problem. Wool industry is an important means of livelihood for many people in our country. But sorter's job is risk, as sometimes they get affected by a bacterium, anthrax, which cause a fatal blood disease called sorter's disease. Yes, it's fatal. People even die because of this disease. Such risks faced by workers in any industry are called occupational hazard. Characteristics of wool fiber. Some woolen fibers are rough while others are extremely soft. Wool can be dyed easily. Curls of the wool fiber create air pockets and give wool a spongy feel. Wool creates insulation for the wearer as it forms air pockets close to the skin. The body heat warms the air and keeps the body of the wearer warm. Wool is elastic and returns to its original position after being stretched. Wool absorbs good amount of moisture, that is water, without getting damp. Woolen fabric can be shaped and tailored, making it a popular fabric for tailoring fine garments. Wool is resistant to fire. Fibers can be distinguished by the way they burn. Cotton burns quickly and leaves behind ash. It gives out a characteristic odor of burning paper. The ash crumbles easily. Wool does not burn easily. It burns with a sooty flame and gives out an unpleasant odor of burning hair. The residue of the burnt wool is hard. Silk fibers burn with a sooty flame and gives out burnt hair-like odor. The residue left behind is black powder which crumbles easily. Synthetic fibers such as nylon and polyester melt and drop while they burn and give out a smell of burning plastic. The residue they leave behind is hard. So now that you know the characteristics of wool, I think you can easily find out which fabric is made up of what fiber. So far, we have seen about animal fiber wool, the types of wool, the steps involved in wool processing, and the characteristics of wool fiber. Now let's watch a video and recap what we have learned today.
Animal fiber, wool. Fibers are used to make yarn, which in turn is used to make fabric. Fibers obtained from plants are plant fibers, while those obtained from animals are animal fibers. For example, wool and silk. In this video, we will talk about wool. Some animals such as sheep have thick coat of hairy fibers on their body. It is called fleece. The question is, why do they have such a thick coat of hairs? Reason is simple. Fleece traps air. Since air is bad conductor of heat, therefore, heat does not pass from animal body into surrounding environment. This helps to keep their body warm. we obtain wool from fleece of sheep. The clothes made of wool keeps us warm. Basically, the skin of sheep have two types of hairs, coarse beard hair and fine soft underhair located close to skin. Wool is obtained from fine underhairs of sheep. There are some breeds of sheep which have only fine underhair. If we select parents which produce only soft underhairs, then they give birth to a sheep which will have only soft underhairs. So, it is possible to produce organism with desired characters by selecting the parent of similar characters such as soft underhair. The process is called selective breeding. There are other animals too which provides wool. For example, yak wool is popular in Tibet and Ladakh. Angora goats found in hilly regions like Jammu and Kashmir provides Angora wool. Wool is also obtained from the hairs of goats. The underhairs of Kashmiri goats are very soft. These are used to make fine shawls called pashmina shawls. In South America, animals such as llama and alpaca provides wool. Angora rabbit also provides wool. I hope you have understood this topic very well. Thanks for watching this video.
In our country, mostly people wear silk saris and silk dhotis for weddings and special occasions. Do you have any idea how silk fibers are made into silk, which is woven into saris? In the next video lesson, we will bring to you another exciting video about animal fiber silk. Thank you, children.